I'm really pleased that there is more information that's becoming available and that awareness is being raised, because I think this is an issue of significant concern. And I have a background working with people with acquired brain injury, although not usually concussions. And even as somebody working with acquired brain injury, I think probably concussion wasn't on my radar, but it makes absolute sense that that is the milder end of acquired brain injury, and that we should be doing far more to look at the risks, control for them, but also manage concussions appropriately when they happen, because they can have such long-term effects. As a parent of a sporty youngster, it certainly does, particularly when you sort of watch closely what happens on a rugby field, for example, and how much contact there is. There's so much opportunity for concussions to happen, and potentially for them to not be noticed or not acted upon in the long run in the way they should. So, you know, one is trying to support one's children to have the best possible opportunities, and I think we need to guard against any potential for damage to brain and lasting effects. Sporting activity has huge health disbenefits, so the benefits of playing sport are enormous. When it's your child and you look at the amount of contact within some sports, it's worrying, but on balance I think it's probably healthy, provided that the game is controlled properly and any incidences of concussion are dealt with appropriately, not just pitch side but in the long run. Concussion is being managed better than perhaps was the case at one stage. I see that games are controlled quite carefully. I'm thinking here particularly of rugby games, where I see that there's a lot of stopping the game, explaining to the children what they're not doing correctly and trying to manage that. And then I have seen concussion occur on the field. I've seen it be managed well. I've seen children being pulled off instantly and sat out for the rest of the game, disappearing off to hospital. I know that this school has a policy of making sure that children go to accident and emergency. I have also witnessed a game against another school where a child clearly had a concussion, and he was pulled off for a short time. I think they were unkeen to pull him off, and then he was put straight back on the field again. He was then taken off very quickly afterward, I have to say, but not before it was clear that he'd been pretty much forced to go back on, play again by the coach, and was clearly unable to do so. And I think that was a very risky thing to do. I think baseline testing is a very, very logical step to take. If your child has their baseline recorded, it's factual, and then at a later date, if they are unlucky enough to have any kind of concussion, then you have that baseline to refer back to. And it's then taking the decision out of the hands of parents, of the pupil themselves, of perhaps those that are running the game and very keen to see their players back playing again. Or also if there's any concern, any question mark in people's minds as to whether somebody is at the right level or not to play again. So it makes it into a factual decision, rather than one that's more open to interpretation, which has to be a good thing.